Hello, this is Heinrich back with another Sunday serving, words of hope and truth from the gospel. So it's September and the summer months have been busy and hectic and catching up on work or obligations that you may have put off earlier on this year in the spring because of the COVID lockdown, or just trying to make this life, this new reality work for you and your loved ones. And now we're stressed out about getting our children back to school, which will mostly be by remote learning, and that's a challenge to say the least, or some hybrid model that we're not really sure how it's going to work. So all this, and there are so many unknowns still and worries ahead. And now this weekend, it's Labor Day. And we're supposed to reflect on the wholesomeness and the meaning of good hard work. And what's more, we're supposed to rest and relax and celebrate and fellowship. And how do you even do that without getting together with your neighbors for a barbecue or something? Or how do you do that without being able to go to church? Well, I hope you find a safe way to fellowship, to celebrate, to get together when that's possible, even if it's just limited to watching a YouTube channel like this and maybe barbecuing a hot dog by yourself on your back porch. I hope it's more than that, but we also shouldn't talk about celebrating work or rest without mentioning and acknowledging all the many who have lost their jobs and their means to earn their livelihood for themselves and their families. And our prayers are with all of them, and our attention should be focused on helping and encouraging them and doing our part to spread and cultivate this great sacrament of work, meaningful work, of labor, and the satisfaction of harvesting good fruits of that toil. You know, work is biblical, the whole sweat of the brow thing. It's been with us since the beginning of creation. God himself, it says in Genesis, worked for 6 days to make the whole world, the whole universe. That's some awesome work. You know, we can think what we like about those 6 days, but they were God's 6 days. We weren't there, at least I wasn't. So we don't really know how long and how hard they were. We can only imagine. But one thing's important. It says, on the seventh day, God rested. Wow, that sounds appropriate. I think we can all relate, at least I hope we can, to a well-deserved rest after a hard session of physical or mental work. So Genesis 1:31, it says, God saw all that he had made, and it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. I always love that word, it was good. It really was good. And so work is important. Without it, there's no return of investment, no growth, no blessing, no food, no drink, no fun. And the Bible is full of wonderful quotations about the meaning and the blessing of work. Quite a few of them, so I have my cheat sheet here. Proverbs 14:23, all hard work brings a profit, but mere talk only leads to poverty. So we have to do more than talk about work. We actually have to get down there and do it. Proverbs, a lot of good verses in Proverbs. Proverbs 12:11, those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies have no sense. So two great passages about work. In the New Testament, there's also a lot of value put on good hard work. In Colossians, the letter of Colossians chapter 3:23, Paul says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. Ephesians 4:28, anyone who has been stealing must steal no longer. Imagine that. But must work, doing something useful with their own hands, that they may have something to share with those in need. So there's the importance of sharing the fruits of our work. And back to the Old Testament, there's a wonderful psalm. Psalm 127 has some great lines that combine the praise of good hard work also with the blessing of children. And that's appropriate because we're celebrating the return to school, and it's likely that that'll be centered in your living room or your backyard. And this passage stresses the important idea that our work and our reward needs to be blessed and based on God. So here, Psalm 127. Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the guards stand watch in vain. In vain you rise early and stay up late, toiling for food to eat. For he grants sleep to those he loves. There's the rest part. He grants sleep to those he loves. Here's the part about children. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from him. Like arrows in the hands of a warrior are children born in one's youth. Blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them. So it's awesome to have children. So what about rest? Why is rest so important? Well, back to Genesis, chapter 2, verse 1 through 3. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. By the seventh day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the seventh day, he rested from all his work. So there, God rested from all his work. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating all that he had done. So here is the importance of rest. God rested. He wants us to take our rest from work. If God needed rest, we can be pretty sure that we're going to need it too. Without rest, our bodies, our minds, our spirits, they get worn down, and we're more prone to making mistakes. We have poor judgment. We get irritable and angry. Our anxiety levels and depression, all these kinds of things can worsen if we're short on sleep. All kinds of ill health. So we don't only owe it to ourselves, but we owe it to others, especially those we love. We owe it to God to get enough rest. In the Bible, Moses took rest pretty seriously, and he passed on this commandment of God to his people in Exodus. Exodus 23:12, he said, 6 days do your work, but on the seventh day do not work, so that your ox and your donkey may rest, and so that the slave born in your household and the foreigner living among you may be refreshed. So even back then, the servants, the slaves, the animals, it was important for everybody to get rest. And in the New Testament, Jesus also spoke about the value of rest. He also spoke about where it comes from. I love this verse from Matthew 11:28-30. Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your soul. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Wonderful words of Jesus. Coming to Jesus will bring rest and refreshment of the body and the soul. And that can happen on the Sabbath. God wants it to happen on the Sabbath, but it can happen anytime, really, not just on the Sabbath. And Jesus confirmed that when he said this in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 2, I think it's verse 27. Jesus said, I think these are very important words, "The Sabbath was made to meet the needs of the people, not people to meet the requirements of the Sabbath. So the Son of Man is Lord even on the Sabbath." And so both work and rest are not only nice or even good, they're vital, they're necessary, they're righteous and godly. We should share in our work and our rest. So that's why it's important to celebrate and observe Labor Day this weekend, this year, more than ever, because of all the stress and the turmoil and the problems all around us. We need this reminder. We need to ask God to give us our work and to give us our rest. And we need to thank Him for these gifts every day, but especially today. Look around this beautiful setting here. It's pastoral. It's nice pastures here. There's a farm down there, a barnyard. there's woods, there's trees. It gives a sense of peace. It's kind of like farmers plant and tend their gardens and their flocks, but there's also a sense of peace and rest in nature and in the landscape, in the fields and the animals grazing, even in the sky and the birds. Everywhere in nature we have both the sense of work and the sense of rest. If we look around here, we might find a farmer in his pasture either finishing his work or starting his rest. Let's take a look down here. Here we have it. Rich, how you doing, Rich? Good to see you, brother.
What are you up to here?
So we've been talking about work and rest here.
Okay.
I know you've been out in the field here. What's your plans? You've been working or resting?
Well, actually a bit of both, because it is close to the Sabbath. But what we're doing here is we're preparing a pasture for sheep, which is also,
that's biblical.
Very biblical.
Sheep may safely graze and pasture.
And sheep, if you go look at them, they do give you peace of heart. So that in between working at the pasture and clearing the land, I take time to look at the animals and find that inner quiet and peace. So
That's wonderful. So you find work and rest and peace all interrelated here on the farm, on the pasture.
They are, and I actually don't find that there is a real separation between you can find rest working and just resting can also be very strenuous and unpeaceful. So
I'm not sure the biblical base of that, but that is interesting. It's actually true.
Well, yeah, people find rest in different ways.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
Some find it on the couch, and other people find it out of doors. And
so maybe the important thing is to contrast it. Like if you're working hard in an office, to get out and work in nature is kind of like rest.
I think that's right.
And if you're out in the field working really hard, you need to take a break and sit down and have a nice cold glass of beer or lemonade or something.
I think that's absolutely right. It's about balance.
Okay, so that's beautiful. So God bless all of you. Have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Make sure to thank God for your work, ask God for work, thank Him for it, and for rest. And let's all take care of each other, and God bless you all. Thank you for watching.